All right, it is the sniper, Sean Woodson. And Sean, I got to ask you, man, 2021 was great. Perfect year, 2-0, building some momentum. And then you've
Yes,
been
sir.
gone for a while, man. We haven't seen you in like 8 months at this point. What's been going on, man? Where you been?
The brutal sport of MMA, man. I got injured in my fight against Yusuf back in June. I had broke my hand, and the doctors told me, I should stay out for about 6 months. But I fought 5 months later, and yeah, that's probably why I rushed it a little bit and banged my hand up again in that last fight. And so this time I was like, I'm gonna take the necessary time off to let my hand heal so I can keep making magic with these bad boys. So yeah, here we are.
I love it, man. That's a tough lesson, right? I mean, you guys want to be as active as you can. If you're not competing, you're not getting paid. But it turns out listening to those doctors is probably the smart thing to do.
Yeah, 100%, man. I got to do what's best for my career. But yeah, you're right. Like, I always had it envisioned that when I got in the UFC, I was going to hit the ground running. And I wanted to be one of those, Kevin Holland type dudes that fight 4 or 5 times a year. But, I can only focus on what I can control. And yeah, so I got to make sure that, I just got to stay on top of these injuries and worry about my body.
Yeah, much respect for that. I guess the hands now, was it surgery or was it just resting? I mean, what'd you have to go through to get healthy?
So it was surgery the first time I broke it, and this second time around, I just busted it up really bad. And yeah, they were just like, you just gotta just sit down and give it some time to give it the time necessary to actually heal and get solid and get dense. And so yeah, I just had to sit down for a little while, and then it just had to do a bunch of rehab and a bunch of bone strengthening stuff and things like that. But yeah, it's rock solid, ready to go right now. I probably could have fought, a few months earlier, but I just didn't want to push it at all. I wanted to give it the enough time that they said and more.
Smart. Yeah, lesson learned there. So I guess in the interim while you were hanging out, you turned 30 as well, right? Was that a big one for you? Did that hit you hard?
I guess that's what they say. They say I turned 30. It don't feel like it, man. Anybody who knows me, like, it's so weird. Like, my entire family and like nobody takes me turning 30 seriously. Like, it doesn't even feel like that. I still feel 18, man.
I love it, man. Well, if you ever have to go get a real job, that's when you get old, is when you have a real job, right? I mean, as long as you're doing this, you're all right.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, as long as you're doing what you love, never work a day in your life. And yeah, this sport, it keeps me young.
I love it. So I guess the big thing I wondered about you is as you continue to get older, 6'2", featherweight. I mean, is it during this time away? Was there any thought about putting a little weight on as we're not working out as much? Maybe we need to look up, or do you feel like you're good in that division for the rest of your career?
Yeah, that definitely was a concern of mine. I got a nutritionist, Jacob Scher, who I've worked with my entire career. And he's always told me that, once you hit 30, think your body's going to be different. And he swore up and down that once I hit 30, I wouldn't be able to make 145 anymore. But I mean, here I am. And yeah, my weight is dialed in and on point. And I don't, I've been working, extensively with my strength and conditioning coach, Matt Owen. And that was another worry. I was worried about putting on muscle and making the weight cuts harder and things like that. But no, I mean, back when at the beginning of me making 45, my diet wasn't really locked in all the way on point, and I made those weight cuts harder on me than they needed to be. But now everything's on point. I'm not playing around with it. I don't want any bad weight cuts and stuff. So yeah, I think I'll be able to make 45 for a long time. I don't see a situation where I'd have to go up, to be honest.
Much respect. All right, well, back in action finally, August 20th, UFC 278. If I'm not mistaken, you've been fighting at the Apex a lot. This will be the first time in front of a crowd in like 3 years, right? I mean, are you thinking about that experience again and getting that feel of a full arena cheering?
Yeah, man, I can't wait for that. Somebody else mentioned that. I didn't even realize it's been 3 years since I fought in front of a crowd. I made my debut in Boston. Yeah, that was 3 years ago. But yeah, it seems like yesterday. I still remember everything about it. I still remember the walk, the crowd, everything. Super glad that I got that one in before COVID hit. So I got to experience fighting in front of a crowd. But yeah, other than that, all my fights have been at the Apex, no crowd. I'm really indifferent on both scenarios, fighting with a crowd or without a crowd. I wouldn't mind either or, but I definitely do feel like that the crowd will add more to it and add more to my performance. And if I had to pick, I would definitely pick fighting in front of a crowd, but fighting at the Apex, I'm fine with that too. But yeah, I'm really excited to get out there and fight in front of a crowd again, because I remember how I was in Boston, and I'm sure in Salt Lake City it's going to be the same, if not better.
I tell you, it's funny because fighting in the Apex, like I see why fighters enjoy it because, obviously it's calmer, it's a little bit more relaxed. You can hear your corner, which is amazing. There's no issues there. But boy, when there's a really good fight going on, when there's a really good scrap, and you got 16,000 people on their feet cheering, man, it
Oh
just
yeah.
makes for a whole different feel. It's a whole different environment.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, like I said, I remember like it was yesterday when I made my debut, and yeah, I just remember walking out hearing that crowd, and yeah, it gives you an extra added energy. Fighting at the Apex is more kind of like sparring. There's it's more intimate, it's more quiet, and a calm setting. But yeah, that crowd, man, and I've heard it all my life. People talk about what the crowd does to them, and it gives them extra boost of energy. I always thought that was just like a figure of speech or people just talking, but no, like yeah, it legit just it's electrifying. It adds something to you for sure.
No doubt. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Luis Saldana is the opponent. Break him down. What do you see? Are you a big tape watcher? I mean, are you a study kind of guy, or do you just worry about what you're doing?
Oh yeah, by the time we get to the fight, I know these dudes like the back of my hand. Yeah, I watch every interview, every fight, every amateur fight, everything. I was familiar with him before. I was familiar with him, before we even got matched up to fight. I watch everybody in the division. He's well rounded. He's good. Everybody's good, in the UFC. He's slick. He's a counter strike. He's a counter puncher. He mainly wants to stand and strike, which is what I love to do, and I'm excited about that. Although I do, I just like everybody, I think his plan A will be to come in here and strike with me. But I think once things get going, that he's gonna call an audible and start looking for the takedown. But yeah, well rounded, and he's a guy that's gonna bring out the best in me and make me showcase my skill set and everything that I've been working on these past 8 months.
Yeah, you probably have to go into every fight, no matter what somebody's style is, knowing that, right, as soon as my 6'2" jab pops them in the face a couple times, there's no way they're going to realize they can't do this.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, there's no secret what I'm coming to do. There's no there's no secret what my game plan is going to be. I always say, like, I'm the easiest guy in the world to game plan for. I'm just one of the hardest to execute on. I'm coming in here to try and knock you out. I'm trying to keep this fight standing by any means necessary, and I'm wanting to have a shootout in the middle of the cage if we can do that. Yeah, and I know no matter what somebody's saying or what they might think, or I'm gonna strike with him. And I've heard that so many times. I'm gonna strike with them, and they think they're saying something new or something crazy. Like, I'm gonna strike with them. I'm strike with them. That always changes pretty quick.
I love it, man. What a great way to say easiest to game plan, toughest to execute, man. I love that. So, Tony, you say you watch everybody in the division. Are you one of these guys that is watching every Saturday night, just a fight fan watching it? Because I know a lot of fighters say, man, I'm Saturday night, I'm trying to get away and, pull back. I don't want to watch. Are you one of those guys that watches everything?
Everything, man. Like, I get it when those guys say this stuff. And a part of me thinks some of them guys be lying when they say that. But yeah, I watch it all. I watch every event. I don't think I've ever missed a UFC event. And yeah, I'm a student of the game. Always have been. I'm a fan first. And yeah, I watch everything and I watch it close.
I love that, man. I love that. All right, well, it's finally back to action. August 20th, UFC 278. Talk to me about the goal here, Sean. I mean, like I said, I thought you had some real solid momentum going. I'm proud of you for taking the smart decision to hold out and let your hands heal up. But what's the goal here, man? Does it feel like, you got to do something kind of special, remind people what you had going, or is it, hey, let's just go get a win and we'll get back on track again?
Nah, yeah, it's more than just let's go get a win here. I've been in the UFC for going on 3 years now, and I feel like I still haven't really lived up to my potential, or just showed the world what I'm really about. I've had some great performances, but I just haven't never really been able to build onto that momentum and really get the ball rolling and get to where I feel like I deserve to be. So yeah, that's the goal for this one, is to go in here, make a statement, and show everybody that I'm the dark horse of this division, and just show everybody what I'm about.
I love it, man. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Sean, I know you're a busy man, so I appreciate the time. Thanks for doing this, and we'll see you at UFC 278.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you wanting to take the time to interview me, man. And yeah, I can't wait to get out there and get in front of the fans and put on the show for everybody.